Here's ways to contact me if you have any questions. Go to raise your hand in the respective unit, IM me, Kmail me, or call me. 08. What we're going to be doing in this lesson is finding the surface area and volume of prisms. And I don't think this is a new term. I think we talked about it in the last lesson, but the base area of a prism is capital B, which is the area of one of the two bases of a prism. And you need that information both for the surface area and volume. And please, please, please use your course number, which is 202B, and your section number with all communication to me. You should be in section 1, 2, or 3. But please include 202B because I have 3 section 1s, 3 section 2s, and 3 section 3s. So you've got to let me know which sections you're in. Okay, we're going to start off with the surface area of prisms, and right here is the formula that we're going to use. S is for surface area, B is for base. So we're going to have the surface area equals 2 multiplied by the base plus L, which is the sum of the lateral faces. It's not just one of them, but all of them added together. So here we go. Here's the formula we're going to use. Well, to get started, we're going to find out what is capital B and what is L. So first, come down here and you can see in red, I've started with B, capital B equals half little b times h. And this little b means the base of the triangle, and the little h means the height of the triangle. So for the base, I'm going to take that 3 and plug it in for the little b. I'm going to take the 4 and plug that in for the little h. So now my formula reads 1/2 times 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, and then I'm going to get half of that, which is 6. So the area of this red triangle right here is going to be 6. And that's the number that I'll be plugging in for the capital B in my surface area formula. Now for the area of the lateral faces, you're going to have to figure out each lateral face. Okay? There's 3 of them on this triangle. This bottom one right here, to find the area, I'm going to say 3 times 10, and I'm going to get 30. And then for this back one, I'm going to say 4 times 10, and I'm going to get 40. And then for this top one right here, I'm going to say 5 times 10, which is 50. I'm going to add all of those together, and my lateral surface area is going to be 120 square inches, or inches squared. It doesn't matter which way you write it. So I'm going to take this 6 and this 120, and I'm going to plug them into my surface area formula. There you go. And then I'm just going to do the math. 2 times 6 is 12 plus 120, and then I'm going to add those two together, and I'm going to get 132 inches squared. So that's going to be the surface area of this prism. Okay, if you were to wrap it exactly with the piece of paper, you would need 132 inches squared of paper. Now let's look for the formula for the volume of a prism. And here's the formula that we're going to use. Capital V for volume, B for the base area, and H for the height of the prism. Now this is where you got to be careful. When you're looking for the height of the prism, the height will always be the edge, which is 10 inches in this prism. It will always be a lateral edge. Don't ever mistakenly use the height of the base. Okay? Use the height of the prism. So I had already figured out what the capital B was in my previous problem, and we know that it's 6 inches squared, so I'm going to have to plug that 6 in for the capital B in the formula. I know the height of my prism is 10, so I plugged it in for the H. So my volume is going to be 60 inches cubed. Now remember, your area is always squared, your volume is always cubed. Let's look at an example here. It says a rectangular prism has a surface area of 198 square feet, a height of 6 feet, and a lateral surface area of 144 square feet. What is the base area of the prism? Okay, here they gave us capital S, which is 144. They're wanting us to find out what B is, and they gave us the information to calculate the lateral surface area. Oh, no, they gave us the lateral surface area. I apologize. So the surface area that they gave us in the problem is 198 square feet. They want us to find the capital B, and the lateral surface area that they gave us is 144. Square feet. So I take that 144 and I subtract it from both sides. This is where the algebra kicks in. So 198 minus 144 is going to give me 54. And then I divide both sides by 2. And I find out that the base area of the prism is going to be 27 square feet. See, all we did was plug in the numbers and kind of worked it backwards. Now we're going to have to find the volume. Well, now we know what capital B is. We found it in this last problem. We know that capital B is 27 feet squared. So we're going to plug that in. They gave us the height of the prism. Right here they told us it was 6 feet. So I'm going to have 27 times 6. And I find out that the volume of my prism is 162 inches cubed. Now we're going to calculate each measure for the triangular prism, and they've given us some different measures to figure out. They asked us to calculate the lateral surface area. Okay, now notice on this one you have two lateral surface areas that are 5 by 11. You have one down here that is 6 by 11. Okay, so I figured out one of them is 5 by 11 gives me 55. Well, there's two of them. So I said 2 times A, and they put A for area, equals 110. Okay, so these two top rectangles or parallelograms are 110 meters squared. This other surface area, the one down on bottom, or no, lateral area down on bottom, is 6 by 11, which is 66. Now I've got to add these two guys together to get the lateral surface area. And there we go. 110 plus 66 is 176. Okay, notice we didn't do anything with the triangles. Lateral surface area is just for the sides. It doesn't include the bases. So there was 176 meters squared for my lateral surface area. B says to find the base area. Well, notice what I've done. Let me get my little pointer. Notice what I've done right here. I've added this little red line. Because to find the area of this triangle, remember my formula is 1/2 little b times little h, or base times height. Well, I don't know what the height of this triangle is. So I'm going to have to start things off by using the Pythagorean Theorem and figuring out what the height is. So there's my a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now look what I plugged in here. Remember, I put this line right down the middle. So that means this segment right here is going to be 3 meters. It's going to be 6 divided by 2, which is 3. Okay, and then the 5 in my formula represents this side of the triangle, which is 5. So now what's going to happen, is we went ahead and squared them. And then I subtracted the 9 from both sides, so I got b squared equals 16. And then found the square root of 16, which is 4. So the height of this triangle right here is going to be 4. And yes, this is a little bit of extra work that you're going to have to do to find this prism surface area. So I added right here, the height of the base triangles is 4 meters. So now I can find the area. My little b is going to be 6, and my h is going to be this 4 meters that I calculated. So I'm plugging those in, so you're going to have 24 and multiply that by 1/2. So now, well, look, they multiplied both sides by 2. That's fine as well, because what they were doing was getting rid of this half out of there, but it doesn't matter how you do it because you're still going to end up dividing it by 2. You're going to get that the base area is 12 meters squared. So now they want us to find the surface area, and here's our formula for the surface area. And remember, we just found the capital B, which was the 12 meters squared, right? We've already found the sum of the lateral surface areas is 176. So we just got to plug those numbers in, just like that. And then we have 24 plus 176. That gives us 200 meters squared. Now, last but not least is volume. I got to go in and find the volume. So I'm going to have the base, which I already know is 12 meters squared. And then the height of the prism, remember, is always the lateral edge. And the height of this prism is going to be 11. So I'm going to end up plugging in 12 times 11. And that gives me 132 meters cubed. There we go. We answered all 4 of the questions. Now what we learned today, look, we had all that one objective, and look at all we learned. We learned that the surface area of any three-dimensional figure is the sum of the area of all of its faces, which faces includes the 2 bases. And if B is the area of one at base and L is the sum of the lateral faces, the formula for the surface area of a prism is S equals 2B plus L. And the volume of a three-dimensional figure is the number of unit cubes that it would take to completely fill it. And then here's the volume formula, V equals B times H.